Hello everybody, welcome to another reaction video. Today I'm going to react a brand new video from Critical Drinker about the Snow White movie. Yeah, I heard a lot of stories from this movie, like leaks. I think there were some couple of weeks ago, I don't remember exactly. But yeah, I mean the story of Snow White, we all heard about it, we all read about it, we all seen it. And there's been a lot of weird and also stupid argument from this movie. For example, the main actress who plays Snow White is like, I think she's Colombian, like Latin American, while in the stories from the source materials, Snow White is even in the name, she's white as snow. It's a German story from like what, the 1400s, made by the Grimm brothers, I think it was. And it even says in the sagas, I don't know if you're calling it a fairy tale or a story, but here in Scandinavia we're calling it sagas. It even says in the sagas that she's white as snow. That is what makes her so attractive, so special. Like, what is going on? Disney, you're fucking stupid. I mean, you've done this for a lot of movies, and here's the thing: I'm not against diversity. Yeah, I'm exposed to diversity every day, like Chinese people, Japanese people, Turkish people, Iranians, France, German, African American, and Irish, and Mexican, Portuguese, French. There's so many people that I meet from different countries at my job. So I don't need diversity everywhere I know. I'm not against it. If you wanna have diversity in your movies, then make a brand new one. Like for example, Dragon Age, it has a lot of diversity. It's a video game, I know. Now it's also a series, but I think it's going to be a live series eventually. That's for later. But I do know that there's a lot of diversity in that. And why? Because it's a new story, it's a new world, it's a brand new, like, and it works when they're planning out all the cultures and that sort of thing. It works, but it doesn't work here. Like, it's so stupid. And also the whole big battle between Peter Dinklage and Warwick Davis. I know there was a couple of years, maybe a year ago, when there was a big fight between these two. Peter Dinklage said, "Oh, it's so offensive to call him dwarf, and it's so backward, this story, it should be boycotted." Like, Peter, you do know this is a sagas about fantasy dwarf, not kind of like in the Lord of the Rings, or yeah, even Dragon Age. Not like these are people with diseases. These are fantasy dwarf. And dwarf are in sagas and that sort of in religions and that sort of thing. They are not even remotely relative to humans. They don't have any connections. Like for example, in Norse mythology, dwarf and humans, we have nothing relative to one another. I think dwarf were born from the blood of the Ymir, and humans were born from driftwood, carved out from the Aesir gods. Like, you need some sort of source materials here. But so then you, of course, you have Warwick Davis, who were more about the taking away dwarf actors' jobs essentially, which I'm also agree to. Like, why can't these dwarf be played by actual dwarf? It makes sense. It will actually add some sort of immersion, and it also creates jobs. Like, I don't understand the argument against that. But anyway, let's see what Critical Drinker has to say. I imagine it's going to be fun.
You know, I'm beginning to believe that Disney are experiencing some kind of corporate survivor's guilt for all the money they've made over the years and have resolved to do everything in their power to correct that mistake. Whether it's tanking every single brand under their umbrella, or getting into ridiculous political battles they can never hope to win, or releasing flop after flop that have burned through hundreds of millions of dollars.
I didn't see Indiana Jones at release, or I not plan to see it either. My mom wanted, but I said no. I'm not watching it. I'm not giving any money to Disney for the catastrophe of this movie. I only heard that the 20 minutes in the beginning of the movie is great, but the rest is just boredom to death.
It feels like the company is conducting its very own Viking funeral on itself while it's still alive. And since they've more or less run out of ideas for new things to create, they've
Cinderella is... I have not heard anything that there's been a Cinderella movie. 2015? I don't remember that. The Jungle Book, I only saw it on TV once, a couple of years ago. Alice Through the Looking Glass, not seen that one. Wait, is that with Johnny Depp, right? No, it can't be. I don't think I've seen it. The Beauty and the Beast I've seen, I saw it on TV. It was okay, as it was a good adaptation for the animated. It's kind of like one of the Disney's only good remastered adaptation of these stories.
decided to pilfer their back catalogue of classic animated movies.
Dumbo, such... I saw like 20 minutes of it and I was just... I just walked away from there.
With a series of soulless, cynical...
I didn't see Aladdin because I wasn't interested. Aladdin is just not one of those... admittedly, it has one of the best music from any Disney movies, but this story to me is just not really my thing. My mom and my oldest brother, they did see it, and they said that it wasn't that great. It wasn't even... compared to the animated one, nowhere near as good.
Cash grab live action remake.
Lion King I did see. I think that, as I said, we all know the stories, and I'm not one of those people who like to see a movie where I already know about the story. But I gotta say, yeah, the CGI for that movie it's incredible, absolutely. But I would rather want that to have, like, you know, like made a little bit more, how should I say it, use their freedom essentially to make the lions and the animals look a little bit more, you know, cartoony, some sort of with facial. I saw some sort of fan creation art or something where they took images from this movie and remade them into like brought a little bit more to the animated side, and it actually looks amazing. I was like, why couldn't they done that?
The problem is that the first few films actually did pretty well.
But Maleficent? Magnificent? I can't pronounce that. Maleficent. I heard it was a good one, but I haven't seen
at
it.
The box office, so they've decided to put the brakes on their latest project with an unnecessary race swap of the main character, rewriting and undermining the core themes of the story to make it
So
acceptable
stupid.
for modern audiences. And hammering it all home with what I can only describe as the single worst collection of sounds ever recorded by human technology in all of history.
Remember my song in the swamp when I was like, whap, chicka, whap, whap, chicka, whap.
And they look set to repeat this not-so-winning formula with their next live-action remake, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. Oh wait, sorry, Snow White and the Seven Magical Diverse Gender Non-Conforming Vertically Challenged Creatures.
Thank you.
The thing is, Snow White is a bit of a special one for the Disney Corporation because it was their very first feature-length animated movie made by Walt himself way back in
yeah, it was.
1937, taking its inspiration from a 19th century German fairy.
37. I think my grandmother was born 36 and my grandfather was born in 29 or 28.
Fairy tale by the Brothers Grimm. It tells the story of a beautiful young woman who gets betrayed by her evil stepmother and eventually takes refuge in a forest with 7 dwarfs who give her shelter and protection. And when the evil stepmother comes back to finish the job, they risk their lives to defend her until eventually she gets found by the handsome prince and brought...
I gotta say, the animation looks really impressive for a 1930s movie. It looks really impressive.
back to life with a true love's kiss. It was a time.
As I said, I haven't seen this movie in 10 years maybe, but I've seen some scenes recently, and I gotta say the animation looks fantastic, better than I remember it, and it's so impressive for a 1930s movie.
Timeless story of betrayal, friendship, loyalty, sacrifice, and the redeeming power of love. And adjusted for inflation, it's still the highest grossing animated film of all time, and one of the most important movies in the history of cinema. Now, call me crazy if you like, but something tells me this remake isn't going to be so well regarded. The problems began early on with the casting of Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Now, why was this a problem, you might ask? Well, the original German folktale describes the character as follows. Schneewittchen hat Lippen rot von einer Rose, Haar schwarz wie Ebenholz und Haut weiß wie...
My German is very rusty, and well, that was a very stereotypical German speaking in a way. It kind of depends on where you are in Germany, because remember, Germany is a massive country with like what, 80 million people, and it differs from each side of the nation you are. Like if you're in the north, like close to Denmark, the German and Danish kind of like language merge, and it actually sounds pretty cool. And then the further south you go, the more like gruff, more dominated the language becomes, like that. So it's a little bit scary in sort of way.
Schnee. Or in less world-dominating terms, Snow White had lips red as a rose, hair black as ebony, and skin white as snow. Skin white as snow. Skin white as snow. Sure, okay. I mean, you'd think that Disney might have learned from The Little Mermaid that imposing 21st century American cultural norms by race-swapping major characters from popular European fairy tales doesn't tend to go down too well, but whatever. As long as they nailed the character.
So bad. The Little Mermaid. It looks so bad. Like the CGI and the water effects.
Characterization and stayed true to the themes and ideas of the original story, I'm sure it would all be fine.
This Snow White is going to have a modern edge to her, a modern edge to her, a modern edge to her.
The cartoon was so focused on her finding true love, and it's really not even in her mind at all in this film. So focused on becoming the leader and how to find her own agency.
Of course she does, because why have...
Such a fucking stupid comment. Like, we haven't heard that before.
Have a story about the redeeming power of love when we can focus instead on the only thing that truly matters in life. You. Don't you see? It's about what you want, what's best for you, what makes you happy, and everyone else can go fuck themselves. Now, where have I heard this sentiment before?
It's also updated with the current times, you know? It's not just all about a boy, you know? It's all about what she wants for herself.
Jesus,
for
it's like a
fuck's
bunch
sake.
of robots that have all been given the latest software download at the same time. You know, I love how Disney are still trying to sell this idea of strong, self-actualized female protagonists pursuing their life goals without the help of a man, as if it's some crazy new idea that's never been tried before, instead of, you know, the plot of literally every single movie and TV show they've made in the past 10 years. This isn't new or inventive anymore, and you're not impressing anyone with this shit. In fact, all you're really doing is taking away timeless elements of the original story and replacing them with a vacuous, shallow, and ultimately meaningless facade of female empowerment. You don't need a man, you don't need love, you don't need attachments to other people, in fact. You just need to be strong, be empowered, be a leader, and by...
You know, when someone says that sort of words like be strong, be dominant, be have some self-esteem or something, like be independent, like I think of dictators, like that sort of self-describable things sounds very dictatorial. Like, no, please, like that's kind of like you're taking it to Putin way.
Buy more of our products. I mean, okay, maybe the main character's a bit of a bust, but what about the dwarves? I mean, really, they were as much of a collective protagonist in the original movie as Snow White herself. They went through a real character arc together. They learned to work together, to take advantage of their unique skills, to risk their lives for someone else, and ultimately they learned the value of friendship, loyalty, and sacrifice. Oh wait, they're not actually dwarves anymore. Not since the towering intellect of Peter Dinklage weighed in on the film and decided that the portrayal of dwarves in the original movie was backwards and insulting.
You serious?
Peter, mate, you understand that those characters were actually the fantasy species of dwarf and not actual humans afflicted with dwarfism, right? Either way, the result was the same. Someone was angry and things had to change. The dwarves were shit-canned and changed into magical forest creatures. Whatever the fuck that's
Like, in Sweden we have the, kind of like in folklore, we have this, what do you call them again? Grådvärgar, that's the word. Grey dwarf. They're kind of like forest beings, small ones who are roaming around the forest, snatching people, and who knows, basically killing humans and that sort of thing. Kidnap them and eat them and that sort of thing. If they're going to call them like Grey Dwarf or something like close to that in this movie, like the depiction of Grey Dwarf they're small, they're covered in like moss and big eyes and that sort of thing, Scandinavian folklore and sort of way.
Supposed to mean, and 7 roles that could have been played by dwarf actors were basically erased.
It's a bold strategy,
Such a dumb
Honestly,
decision.
I think that Peter would have been the bigger man and given his fellow actors a chance, but I guess not. Maybe he's got an elevated sense of his own importance.
Kind of like makes also what do you call now when there's like an acting strike or that sort of thing in Hollywood, like because low payment and not that much of jobs anymore. Thank Peter here for contributing a little bit of it to the situation where you are in now.
Or something. So let's consider what we've got so far with this thing. A classic European fairy tale about a young woman with skin as white as snow, played by an actress of Colombian descent, so that everyone can see themselves in 19th century German folklore. A story about the search for true love that's no longer about true love, in order to avoid offending the lonely middle-aged feminists that will never actually watch the movie in the first place.
That's true.
And supported by 7 dwarves that are no longer dwarves in order to avoid offending Peter Dinklage.
Oh, fuck. Why did you leave? No, I can understand why you want to leave. Oh. The Witcher is not gonna be the same without him. It's not, like, come on, you need Henry for The Witcher, like, come on. Damn. He seems to be such a genuine cool guy, like, Henry, yeah, I will, I invite you over for dinner.
But hey, at least it'll probably look good, right? I mean, these live-action movies cost hundreds of millions of dollars, so you can bet it's gonna be up there on screen for all to see. Now, I have to admit, I didn't react to these pictures at first because, like a lot of people, I naturally assumed that they had to be fake. I mean, they've got to be right.
Can't be
There's
real.
no way a big-budget movie could possibly look this shit. And for a few hours, at least, it seemed like I was right. Then the confirmation came back from a Disney spokesman that they were, in fact, real photos from the movie set.
My God, they're real.
I just can't anymore, man. This right here is...
What the fuck am I looking at? Is this the dwarf? I mean, the guy in in behind the furthest back, he looks like a crackhead. Someone they took from the street with the clothes and everything. This cat, yeah. Disney, you're true. I don't know. It's like, it's, I don't know how to say this. It's like, this thing has, with diversity, has gone so far, and this wokeism and that sort of thing has gone so far that it's no longer funny to laugh at it, because it's generally scary, and I've lost my words. It's like, you know, Cartman, when he saw that parents with the butt face and that sort of thing, he just can't laugh anymore. He saw something so funny that he lost every kind of humor he got inside him. It's kind of like the same with Disney and their movies right now. What the fuck is this?
Is the decline of Western culture summed up in a single image, and this movie is the literal persona.
This guy, he looks pretty much like he's having like a proper 1970s fashion on him. I can't describe. It's like the stupidity is so high that it's no longer funny to laugh at. It's just scary. It's just, in a way, yeah, it's funny because it's so stupid. Like, if you put me in charge of this movie, I can promise you, Disney, that I'm going to cash in at least 5 billion in the box office. I can promise you that. Give me complete freedom and I will adapt to the books and the stories perfectly, and I will give you so much money for it.
Personification of everything wrong with modern entertainment.
And I don't even have that much of a education in film or media and that sort of thing. A little, but
Entertainment. It's what happens when you're so desperate to showcase your.
Oh my god, when they're going to do a Bambi live action. Oh, it's going to look
Progressive.
I want to see Bambi's mom get shot, like realistically, carved up the skin and that sort of thing. Give the children a little bit more of a trauma.
Of credentials and conform to the endlessly growing list of contradictory demands and nonsensical restrictions.
I'm gonna say Tangled was actually was a good movie. Like as I said, I love animated movies, and I gotta say Tangled is one of the last really good Disney animated movie out there. Ever since then, it's just been collapsed.
That you end up tying both of your creative hands behind your back, and what you ultimately produce is just as soulless, joyless, and pointless as the people you're desperately trying to win approval from.
Oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do a Tarzan live action, and they're gonna make him African. This is. Wait, didn't. Oh yeah, Scar. What was his name? One of the Skarsgård's children played Tarzan, and he looked gigantic in that one. It was an okay movie, but it wasn't great, to be honest. It was more adapted to the books, the actual books, than well, a little bit, not entirely, but a little bit of that was more adapted to the books rather than the sagas from or the animated movie like this one from Disney.
Because here's the thing: whenever you ask them what they want next,
and I'm thinking about why then was Aladdin Middle Eastern in the live action? Why was Mulan Asian? Why isn't Snow White German? You know, ethnic German. Or why wasn't Ariel a white? Is taken from the source material from the, I think it was why wasn't she more Mediterranean looking? And why was I don't remember her name, the girl from the Beauty and the Beast? Why was she was played by Emma Watson? Why was she white? She's supposed to be white. She's Friends. It's a Friends saga. Why are you not doing this for Snow White? Or like, where? What are you doing, Disney? Like, snap out of this. Like, what is going on? Why are you doing this to yourself? There must be a cat or a dog, bird somewhere. There's something fishy about what Disney's doing. I'm telling you, there's something.
No matter how far you've already gone or how much you've sacrificed to try to appease them, the answer will always be the same. More. No matter how many concessions you make, how many problematic elements you mercilessly hack away from your story, how many progressive characters and themes and mindless talking points you awkwardly shove into your narrative, it will quite simply never be enough. There's always going to be another point of outrage, another demand for change, another rule that can't be broken, another piece of your creative freedom you're asked to give up, another piece of cultural heritage to be rewritten for a modern audience that doesn't exist. And you know what? They're fucking welcome to it. If this is the kind of sterile, loveless, charmless, creatively bankrupt propaganda that you choose to serve up, then best of luck to you. Because if the reactions online are anything to go by, you're absolutely gonna need it. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Oh. Well, yeah, the Peter Pan movie that came out. Wait, is this movie going to just be? Is going to be released on theaters, or is it going to be released in just exclusively on Disney Plus or something? Either way, I don't think Disney's going to get any money from it. This is so stupid. Oh, it's so. Like, what happened to entertainment? And then people say, "Oh, why are you so bothered that there's a woman of color, or not really a color, but a different race or different skin color who has it? Are you racist?" Like, what? No. If there was an African story, then definitely it should be an African, like, or someone who's more related to the people of Africa, something to play that role. But this is a German story. And yes, Germans can be also different skin colors or something nowadays, but back then there was a different kind of story. Absolutely. Well, it was a great video from a very depressing one, but a great either or less from Critical Drinker. Link below if you to go sub to this guy. There's something telling me something is happening at Disney. Something is happening. What is, I don't know. I mean, the fact they haven't listened to the fans on Star Wars, the fact that they haven't listened to critical thinking, criticism from their movies, their what you call decisions, and just call out names for anyone who gives them any kind of criticism, and now they're doing this. They're so deep with diversity. It feels like they're digging their own grave, and then all of a sudden it's filled with absolute shit. And they are like, "Oh no, I need to get out of here before I drown." and then someone on the edge are saying like, take my hand, I can help you up, and Disney's just full of their fucking pride and just, no, get your hands away from me, I can do this by myself. Like, I would love to be in one of those board meetings on Disney when they are discussing their stocks and stuff, because I did look up Disney stocks, and it looks bad. I mean, I don't think the stocks have been this bad since like what, the beginning of the since they acquired Star Wars, I think, like back in 2012 or something, around there, almost a decade ago. And it doesn't look like it doesn't look to go up anymore. It looks like the stocks are really bad and people are just buying out from Disney. I can understand, because at one point the stocks were really high for Disney, but now they're declining rapidly. Like, they haven't, as I said, they haven't been this bad since like 2014 or 12 something. Are we seeing the fall of Disney? Like, is Disney going to go far as bankruptcy? I think Disney still have a lot of reserves with money and that sort of thing, and we have seen them starting to fire people, and we have seen them starting to increase their prices for the theme park and that sort of thing. And some really fucked up things that I saw from Disney was that they were taking identity, like your fingerprints and your data, what you like and that sort of thing, when you have to enter their park and that sort of thing. Like, literally taking what we call it now, information without your permission. Like, Disney is, I don't know what is going on at Disney. I do know, didn't he say like the guy who runs Disney has gained another contract or something? What is going on? It's so fascinating sort of way. Are they deliberately doing this to crash Disney? It's just, what is going on? Anyway, this was my reaction to Critical Drinker Snow White. I have no words. I just don't have any words. I just have questions that need to be answered. It's kind of like, that Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, when he was like, I don't need sleep, I need answers. Well, thank you all for watching this movie. Go and sub to Critical Thinker again. I don't know why I'm calling him Critical Thinker. It's just some sort of, it just comes up. Critical Drinkers. Go and sub to him. Anyway, see you all later for another video. Maybe it's going to be the Oppenheimer review that I'm looking forward to. See you all later.